Greetings and salutations. Coming to you from the wide open road in southwest Texas. Cruising down the interstate. And for those of you who don't know my story, I was raised in a little town called Hammond, Louisiana. Through the 6th grade, my parents sold their business, sold their house in the same week. All of a sudden, just boom, got it, done. Bought a motorhome, and we went and picked up my sister that was in college in Colorado on the way out. And we toured around 45 of the 50 states in 6-7 months, something like that. Ended up back in Houma, Louisiana, a little way down the bayou. So I got a little Cajun time in my growing up. I would say that I have a unblemished childhood. My parents, just salt of the earth. Everyone loves them. So gracious, generous, giving. So thankful for them. So many people didn't have that. So I went to college in Baton Rouge, got into politics. The politics led me to getting a job for NBC. I was a producer for NBC for almost a year. Lived up in New York and New Jersey. Ugh. And I stayed up there about a year. It's about all I could handle. It's about all I could handle. And so I got out. I did my best to get fired by being stubborn and not defiant, but just, I think we should do this. I was told this, we're going to do this. If we're not, just tell me differently and we'll do it. But, so, and it just seemed to strengthen the resolve of the bosses that wanted to keep me there, you know. And so I used my grandmother kind of took a little bit ill, but she lived a much longer, another 10-15 years. But I used that to get out of New York. They kept me on the payroll for another 4, 5, 6 months, I don't know. And finally they called and said, well, Bill wants you back in the office, and if you can't come, then we're going to have to let you go. You're going to be letting me go, that's for sure, because I'm not coming back to New York. And so tooled around a little bit, signed business with my dad, stuff like that, and then which led to me opening or buying my first bar. Grew it to, I had 5 bars in all before it was over. And so I've had, you know, I never wanted for anything in my childhood. You know, we got in high school, it was, you know, we had a little less money and a little more struggle, but nothing here to complain about. And so I bought the bar and chased some stuff for a while, chased some things, some items, some money. But most of all, I enjoyed the relationships and that the people, you know, the people that would come in would just talk about their life, get to know everybody. And I've been so blessed, or so, I don't know if I want to say blessed, but I've been so fortunate to have so many great friends. I mean, so many people don't even have one friend they can count that's a good friend. And I have too many to count. And certainly not enough, I mean, too many to mention here. And they've been so gracious and so nice over the years. We've had such good times, so many stories. Probably forgot more great stories than most people have ever had. And so fortunate and grateful for those friends, and we're about to see a few of them here, and hopefully show you some on the way. But, you know, did that from 2007 to 2018, and you know, you had all these cycles of, you know, up and down, boom and bust, and it just got tiresome. It wasn't fulfilling. And I don't know what it was. I don't know. But I just decided to sell it all and go traveling. And So I put the house up for sale, and all the businesses except for the one in Baton Rouge, the bar in Baton Rouge, the Bald Eagle Pub. If you're ever in town, let me know. But anyway, so it's still operational. But I sold everything, and I was headed south. I was going through Central and South America. I wanted to go to Peru. And so I was packing up to go and doing all the errands I needed to do to get ready. And a friend of mine called, and he said, listen, if you're not in a hurry to get down anywhere, I'm gonna buy a sailboat, and I need your help fixing it up, and I'll sail you down there. I said, well, I'm certainly not in a hurry. So I packed up everything, went over to Pensacola, where he brought the boat, put it in the shipyard, on the hard, as they call it. So it was in the shipyard on dry dock, moved in on the boat, all of it, both of us, and we worked day and night for 3 months, just replacing all the systems that needed to be replaced, and getting the mast back on. Being from travel, he bought it in Savannah, and before long we were in the water taking some test sails, and then we went down the coast of Florida. We stayed a month or two in Key West, and then we sailed on to Cuba. Went to Cuba for 2.5 weeks. You're only supposed to go for 2 weeks, and you get permission from the Coast Guard to go down to Cuba. And apparently you have a limit of 2 weeks, unless you want to stay longer, and then you got to get it from the Commerce Department, not the State Department, the Commerce Department. Anyway, we weren't going to stay a month or anything. Well, we were going to stay a little longer, but we were just going to fib. So we did stay 2.5 weeks. Got back, Coast Guard scolded us, when we checked back in to Key West, because there weren't enough supplies in Cuba to stock the boat to make the 4 or 5 day journey over to Mexico. So we came back to Key West, stocked the boat, and then we left and we sailed over to Mexico. And so we sailed to Isla Mujeres, which is the island just north of Cancun. And my buddy had to go back to work, and so he left me with the boat, sitting on the boat in Isla Mujeres. I'm there at the marina for a couple weeks, and I'm walking into town one day and see a little taco shop that I hadn't been in yet, so I pull in. The little girl that owned the place comes up to me. She says, "Oh, you like tequila?" I was like, "Maybe." It's 11 in the morning, and she directed me to a group of Australian and New Zealanders sitting over there at one of the tables. So I ordered my food. I sat down with them, introduced myself. We started talking. We played some games. Had a bottle of tequila there, and they were taking shots. So went in Rome, and so they said that they had arrived in Peru and made their way all the way up to Mexico, just traveling through all of it. And they said they were going to a birthday party in Tulum with some people they met along the way, and they said they wanted me to go with them. And initially I said no. I didn't know how to travel around in the third world or anything, because there is some things to it. You do have to know a few things. And but 20 minutes later, I'm running down the street to pack my things to go with these guys. And four months, so we get to the birthday party. There's like 15 other people that they knew. We're hanging out, having a good time. 2-3 days later, they're ready to move to the next city, and they want me to keep going with them. And I said, no, I need to go back to the boat. So they said they were going somewhere. I said, all right, well, I'm going back to the boat. I got to make sure I have the right things packed and everything. Maybe I'll catch up with them. So they decided to all change their plans, and they came to Isla Mujeres with me. got on the boat. I cooked them some jambalaya, I think, or something like that. We hung out for a day, and they said, okay, well, pack your stuff, let's go. And so I didn't really have any excuses at that point, so I packed my things and I got moving. So 4 months later, almost all of them had left. We got back to Mexico City, and they all flew out. They all were ending their journey, except for one, which I met down in St. Cristobal for Dias del Muertos. Quite an experience there, and it was getting close to Christmas, so I rented a house in Antigua, Guatemala, a big house, and invited everybody that was still traveling to come meet us for Christmas. Well, first we came back to the boat. My buddy Kevin came back, and I brought 3 of them. I brought Jimmy, Lucy, and Anna. Lucy's from Australia, Jimmy's from Australia, and Anna was from Switzerland. And they all came back to the boat. We sailed through Belize, sailed to Guatemala. My buddy Kevin got a foot injury along the way, and anchored the boat in the mouth of the Rio Delche River in Guatemala and flew out to have emergency surgery on his foot. And he barely got back to Houston in time to save his toes. There's a story about footwear there that, you know, maybe he'll tell you a story one day, but there's a reason we buy the flip-flops we buy, the Island Pro flip-flops. But anyway, so I was left in the Rio Delche, anchored with two other people that really hadn't sailed before, and I think the water pump had went out, so we had to get towed up to the Rio Delche into the marina where we were going. We docked the boat, got off, and went to the house in Guatemala that I rented, Antigua, Guatemala, that I rented, and 21 people showed up. We had Christmas with all these people that I'd met on the journey and the travels, and it was wonderful. And something you should know that until this moment, well, even up until this moment, I always had an entourage. I didn't do anything alone. I always had an entourage. Always had people around, you know, group to do things with. After Christmas, you know, the group started dwindling because I was headed south and everybody was headed north because it was getting winter down there. And so after Nicaragua, I left my last friends. I was pretty much on my own, and that's when I really started documenting things a little bit better. And the first time I was really ever alone in my life, and it was a necessary journey. Now Dixie met me down in Colombia, in Cartagena, when I got there. She spent a week in Cartagena, Colombia with me, and it was a fantastic time. I introduced her to her first hostel. She stayed at her first hostel, and she was hesitant, but I think she came away with a very pleasant experience overall. And so then from there on out, it was just me. So, but as you went and stayed at these different places, hostels, hotels, whatever, as soon as you walked in, you were, you know, you had everyone there was friends with you. You could go have dinner, and you just get to know people, and you know, so you had people around, but it wasn't anyone with the same goal or same destination in mind. So that was a very spiritual journey, and if I hadn't found peace yet, I found it then. So anyway, take a look at this sun. Look at that. angles of the sun and the ray. I mean, you can tell me that's 93 million miles away, but that's a different story for a different day. Just traveling by bus, just stopping as long as we wanted to stop, and hanging out as long as we wanted to hang out, seeing all the stops, the waterfalls, the mountains, the whatever there was, all the sights to see. And what you can find in the page below was over 62 videos. I didn't really have, I guess I would have liked to have documented on video a little better, but I had no place to store all that video, no way to edit it. And I was really more focused on finding peace and enjoying what I was doing, being present in the moment. And so I took a bunch of pictures, and that's what you'll see in the things I put together. Some videos, but mostly just still pictures, and I'm telling a story. And there's 62 videos, I think, so far that I put down there, which really starts my travels really in South America. So I haven't even done the 75 videos I need to do to cover Mexico and Central America, which I will get to at some point. But I wanted to briefly give you the story with how it got started. And so I went from Mexico all the way down to Buenos Aires, Santiago, Chile, and all that, mainly by bus. A couple of flights here and there, but not really many. So a lot of time to sit on the back of the bus, watch the scenery, and think about life. And you came to the realization that you finally found peace. You finally let go of the fear that you get living in America. It's so different here. So different. You feel the pressure that you don't feel anywhere else. And you come to the realization that it's not about stuff. It's not about stuff, folks. It's not about stuff, because that all gets in the way. It gets in the way of relationships, fun, peace. Once you find that peace, you never want anything else. So I found that peace, and I didn't want to let it go. So I finished my travels down the south. I wanted to go to Patagonia, but it was getting really cold. It was getting winter down there, and I really didn't have enough clothes to go to almost Antarctica, So I ended the trip sometime in late August of 2019. I came back to see the parents because it's been over 2 years. And then I went back to the boat, which we had moved to Guatemala. And I was sitting in Guatemala because it's close to, it's where everybody does the repairs on the boats before they go through the Panama Canal and then go across the Pacific Ocean. Either headed to China or headed to New Zealand and Australia. And I'd met so many Australian friends traveling through Mexico that I was going to go tour around Australia, see them, see New Zealand, and then somehow find my way to Vietnam or Asia and all that, and go down that path. Then make my way to maybe Europe, and then I wanted to see Africa. And wasn't really interested in Europe, but I was going to see it just because, and I'd met so many friends from all over Europe and everything else. So nice. All these people just go travel for a year or more at a time. I was the only American that traveled for more than, a month. When you tell these people you've been on the road for 10 months, they just look at you, and you're American, they look at you like, what? No, that's not possible. There's no, and then they all would agree that the Americans just weren't people they wanted to be around for very long. And so I was one of the few that fit in. So I was waiting on bigger boats. I wasn't gonna, I mean, it's my buddy's boat, he wasn't with me, so I was just sitting on the boat in Guatemala waiting on a bigger boat coming through, going across the Pacific when COVID hit. And so the marina tells me that I can't even get off my boat without putting a mask on in Guatemala. It was bad down there as far as the Nazi regime that, you know, they scared them really good. They don't have enough knowledge to know anything different. So I went home. You know, I get back and they tell me, oh, it's 2 weeks to flatten the curve. I'm thinking, oh, 2 weeks. We'll be back traveling in less than a month. We'll see some people, use this time, catch up, and then we'll be back on the road. Well, 2 weeks drags into 3-4 months. I took a few road trips out west with some friends and around the U.S. just to bide my time and try to remain in peace here in this country that seems to drain it from you at every turn. And so I bided my time waiting for COVID to be over, and it just never got over. And so I ended up moving in with a friend of mine back in Hammond, Louisiana. So gracious. Cookie, Candace. Maybe you'll meet them in this video, maybe you won't, I don't know. But and so stayed with them and just continued on, just peaceful living, and then decided to buy a little motorbike to get around. And that I was reading the Supreme Court laws and this type of thing, and I was wondering why the world that I was living in, the reality of America, didn't really translate to what the beautiful language of freedom and all the things that the Supreme Court wrote about. And so I decided to do what the Supreme Court says. If you find an unconstitutional law, then you can go on, continue doing what you're doing, and not concern yourself with it. So registration, insurance, all of these things on what they call a motor vehicle, you know, Supreme Court says you don't need it. So started looking into the law. I was a little misguided, no doubt. I had a little bit of knowledge, which is dangerous sometimes. And I, you know, driving around, going back. I was going to my friend's house in Baton Rouge. Get pulled over by the city central cops, who were all, you know, a lot of them wearing masks, mask bandits on the side of the road. Ended up seizing my vehicle and leaving me stranded on the side of the road without a vehicle. So what do? We look into a federal complaint. Sorry about that, folks. The video cut out on the last little bit of my story, but the federal complaint led to trying to file it in the federal courthouse, which they wouldn't let us in without a mask or a vaccine. And so we begged the judge for 318 days to let us in, and she would not relent. And so 318 days into it, we filed a complaint against the judge and the U.S. Marshals and Walden Security. And so that led to the second one, which led to the third one, which led to the fourth one, and the fifth one, and the sixth one, which many of you know that story already. So that's how we got there. But one more little piece of advice on the back end of this, and it's gonna conclude my story. But just wanted to share that with you. I thought it was time. And so here's one more little bitty piece of advice, thought I had driving down the road in I-10, and wanted to share it with you. And that'll conclude today's story. Thanks. Just got on I-10 West, open road, smooth, speed limit 80. You just gotta love Texas, you know. Just got the windows down, the radio up, just not a care in the world. Going to see a bunch of friends, have conversations, sit down, have nice dinners, and it's what life's about. It's what life's about. It's it's not about the rest. It's not about stuff. And we can see stuff being taken away from everyone right now. Entire world, flooding, you know, the Oklahoma tornadoes that just happened. We got earthquakes happening. You know, I think they'll continue, but it's not what it's about. Until the people realize that life is about more than stuff, the destruction will continue. So unity is required moving forward, and stuff prevents unity. So, like I said, cruising down the road, not a care in the world, windows down, radio up, and speed limit 80. Gotta love Texas.